What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Alex Cuesta Show. How's everybody doing out there on this Wednesday, December 7th? No, Thursday. What the hell? Thursday, December 7th, 2023. I threw myself off there, Dave, because I didn't write Thursday. I absolutely suck. And that's a great way to start off episode 102. Hello, everybody. Hi, David.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi. I'm actually just waking up because I was dumb enough to trust a nap. And in my stupor, that beginning music sounded a little up tempo compared to what it usually is. So I'll be there. I'm going to catch up. Don't worry.
I mean, it's supposed to sound up tempo though. Like the point of the music is to
but it sounded a little more up tempo. Like I was like, man, that's going pretty fast.
So what you're saying is it would be really good if we made loud noises the whole time. That would be
no, actually, go ahead. You might wake me up. I was going to take some Excedrin and I almost choked and threw up on it. So that's how this night's going already.
This is going good. All David needs is some wine coolers and some hookers, and he's in.
It'll work. Yeah, I'll be going GTA 6 from there.
You wouldn't be the first MMA fighter to throw up on some pills.
That's very true.
That is very true. So before we jump in, you heard our guest over there, but we're gonna jump in. Before we jump in, give us a like, share, follow, subscribe, rate 5 stars on Spotify and iTunes. Spread this word of mouth. Go find us on the socials at the Alex Cuesta Show. Yes, we have not had a good start, but we had a great guest last week. Go back, give our show a listen, episode 101. We had Mara Macy. She is a congressional candidate coming out of Florida for District 5. She's fantastic. Really big on, a bunch of the Army stuff because her husband, Ted Macy, was a whistleblower for the medical side of things with the vaccine. So she's a good, strong patriot. Go give her support. Go find her website. I think it's Mara Macy for Congress. I'm terrible at that type of stuff, but go follow, go look for her, go find her on X/Twitter, Mara Macy. You can't miss her. So this week we have a fun show. It's always good when we can kind of let our hair down. And with David kind of has enough hair to let down, but we can kind of let our hair down and, have a good friend on and someone that has, I think, been on every single podcast that I have ever had. I think he has been a guest there. He's Mat Santos. He's one of our good buddies. What's going on, brother?
Not much. How are you?
Doing well. Now, Matt, I don't want you to be subdued today, okay? I want you to be the real Mat Santos because we have some good topics to cover and we can go for a while. And I want to jump right into this first one because you're an asshole and so is David, and you guys just want to piss me off right out the jump.
What did I do?
Right out the jump, you guys want to make me angry because we are going to talk about the college football playoff. Now, for those that don't know, the committee has made this an irrelevant year. This playoff does not count. And it is fitting because it is the final season of the 4-team playoff. Now, what am I talking about here? I am a Florida State football fan, also Rutgers. I'm from Jersey, so I support Rutgers, but Florida State I've been a fan of for a little while now. And they should have been in this college football playoff. They are 13-0. They are an ACC champion. They did their job. They have the third strongest strength of record in the whole entire country. And they didn't get in. The teams that got in: Michigan number 1, Washington number 2, Texas number 3, and stupid fucking Alabama number 4. So, and again, Florida State 5 and Georgia was 6. So let's round this out. Santos, what do you think about the rankings, the top 4, and Florida State, and what happened to them?
I mean, there's no point to play the games anymore. We might as well just pick 4 teams in the beginning.
I had no idea what your response was going to be, so this is an interesting way to go.
Florida State should 100% be in. I feel bad. I forget the kid's last name. I know his first name's Brock, the quarterback, the third string. I mean, he didn't have a chance in hell against Louisville, but either way, I mean, why do we play the regular season games? Just to say that Jordan Travis got hurt, now you're not in? I mean, and I don't think it's fucking Alabama. I think it's fucking Texas got in my opinion.
Brock Glenn, just want to let you know.
Yeah, Brock Glenn. That's his last name. 2 first names. Can't trust a quarterback.
You can't actually.
But you know what, though? With Texas, at least Texas won their they won their conference and they came on and they have the head-to-head over Alabama, right? So if you're going to leave anybody out, you're going to leave Bama because they have a loss to a team in the playoff.
Yeah, but they also have the best win in the country.
So let's argue that. Okay, so here's the thing. We can argue that because it could be the best win in the country, but Georgia right before that won 29 in a row. So by that metric, Georgia should still get in because they have a loss, just like Alabama has their blip loss to Texas. Georgia has their blip loss to Bama, but they were the best team for the past 3 years.
But Georgia didn't play anybody. They played in the SEC East. They played Missouri.
Who did Alabama play? LSU that good? They're not. Who the hell did Alabama play this year?
Hey, Old Miss.
Oh my God, Ole Miss. Oh, scary Ole Miss.
Texas A&M.
Jimbo got fired.
Auburn.
Then they almost lost to Auburn. They almost lost the 2 games before this one. They almost lost.
And Auburn's terrible.
Auburn's terrible. And let's talk a little bit about the Seminoles, right? Because Jordan Travis getting hurt was literally the explanation, basically, that the committee president, whatever the hell he is, I don't even know the guy's name. It's some stupid name. But that he gave, basically Jordan Travis getting hurt and the competition. Isn't it a bigger feat to go into play against your bitter rival Florida with your backup, who didn't have a great game, beat them, and then him get hurt, and then have your third stringer play like dog shit, your running game take over, and beat a Louisville team that is pretty damn good, 10-2. It's not like they're a bad team. They're a pretty damn good team. To come and beat them, have the best defense in the country over the last 2 weeks. I'm not going to say overall, but that defense has come on extremely strong. Isn't that more impressive than a full-strength Alabama beating Georgia? And it wasn't like they destroyed them. They beat them. And also, Florida State beat Louisville by more than Michigan beat Iowa. So what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
Wait, no. Florida State won 16-3, didn't they?
Yeah, and
Michigan won 28-0.
No, they didn't. I thought it wasn't.
No, they won like 28. No, it was pretty lopsided.
Either way. I agree with you. Florida State should be it.
Yeah.
I think Texas should be out. I mean, that's just me personally. I don't care that they beat Alabama in week 3, to be honest with you, or week 4, whatever it was.
But then again, then why do we play the games?
Well, I mean, it's how you finish, isn't it? How did TCU get into the playoff? I mean, did TCU have a chance last year? No,
Has
not
Notre
really.
Dame had a chance ever?
No, but they got in because they were undefeated, yes. Which is why Florida State should be in.
Agreed. And and I agree. Stephen A. Smith had a really good point. If Deion Sanders was the head coach of Florida State, even in the same situation, they would be in the playoff right now. And I 100% agree with that. Because this is more about selling tickets, making TV better. It is not about actually who deserves to be there. And it's
you're right.
Dave, what is your opinion on this? On the outside looking in, not really, you're really just starting to get into college football more this year. You started following the Mountaineers, West Virginia more, but you're paying attention more than you ever have, really.
Yes.
So what is your opinion on this?
Well, I mean, I generally agree with you guys. I think it's unfair. That's what it is. It's mainly unfair for FSU to do everything that they can possibly do as a Power 5 team and not get in. I understand the logic of like, look, the team is not going to be as good as it was, but still, when it comes down to it, the team found a way through losing their starting quarterback and found a way to win the games to go undefeated. Even though it wasn't like it was a lot, they still did it. And I don't know. I feel like you reward that, but I also did see someone say, like, since it's their last time in this format where the committee has to go ahead and do this, they just basically decided to go for what is the possibly most entertaining, because what are you going to do? Complain about it next year with them? Because that's not a thing anymore.
I mean, but the thing that is their big caveat that they always could do, and this is so they can always fit an SEC team in. We're going to put the 4 best. That is so it's quite literally so they could put an SEC team in every time. Because if you were going to say the most deserving, then we might have not seen an SEC team in a few times over this past decade. Because there's been a few times where they weren't the most deserving teams. They were one of the best, but not the most. Just because you win the SEC doesn't mean you're more deserving than other teams. I don't care. The SEC is not the juggernaut everyone makes it out to be. You have fucking Vanderbilt and Tennessee there, okay? There are garbage teams in there. Outside of they're top heavy. They have 3 really good teams. That's about it. I'm tired of hearing about the SEC. You take any team outside of LSU, Georgia, and Alabama and put them into any other conference, they get shellacked like every other mid team does. It's nonsense. The SEC myth is nonsense. And that's why they put the best teams so that they can sneak an SEC team in there. Now, Santos, there's been a lot of people, there's been Florida Congressman Rick Scott has taken, wants to have meetings on Capitol Hill about this. Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida and presidential candidate, is saying that Florida State should sue the committee. I believe Florida State should sue the committee, the NCAA and ESPN. And because here's my thing. I don't care about where the suit goes. I want there to be discovery because I want them to let loose all the records of what was said in that room. And if being in the SEC, the relationship to ESPN had anything to do with this decision with Alabama, because let's be real, SEC and ESPN have a deal. The committee obviously has a deal with ESPN because that's where they let all of their release out. They don't release it anywhere else but ESPN. How much did that go into play with Alabama? It's a conspiracy, but I think that we should be able to find out.
Obviously a conspiracy.
I mean, what are you going to sue them for? They didn't pick your team. I just don't see how it would ever get to a judge.
I mean, you could sue him because there's precedent set with the way the playoff has been over the past 9 years. And that
what do you get? What is your reward?
A fraud, a corruption.
It would have to be monetary. I mean,
absolutely monetary. And if Alabama wins the championship, it's automatically stripped because they're a fraud.
FSU gets the national championship.
No, they don't get it. They're just a vacated championship.
It's so much better if Alabama beats Michigan, though. It's just so much better.
At this point, I'm amazing.
It really,
for a week.
No,
I would find it funny.
No, John Harbaugh could go F himself.
It's funny. So, Santos, do you think Harbaugh stays? Win or loss, or do you think he's going to the NFL? No, that clown's
out. He's a failure. He's a loser. Yeah, and I don't want him coaching in the NFL either.
He beat Ohio State 3 years in a row. That is quite literally. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do. That's going to cost Day.
Yeah, he beat Ryan Day.
He's going to get fired.
He didn't beat Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer beat himself by fingering a girl's butthole in Jacksonville. Okay, with their jeans on. That was really weird. But I don't know. Harbaugh. So if Harbaugh wins a championship, I think he stays.
But the times Ohio State beat Michigan, they won a national championship on them.
Agreed. But I think if Michigan stays, if Michigan wins, he'll leave if they lose.
I disagree. I think he leaves either way. He's an egomaniac.
But what does he have to prove? He's already been a great NFL coach.
What? Great my ass. He had 3 playoff seasons, got lucky and got to the Super Bowl because the lights went out, and that's really the end of it.
He made Colin Kaepernick look competent.
Alex Smith looked competent, and then he went to KC and did it again. So I don't know what your point is.
So here's you don't think Harbaugh, being an egomaniac, if he wins a national title this year, if he can go after Bo Schembechler and become the greatest coach in Michigan history, if he has that chance, if he could think he can get on a roll after this, don't you think doing it at his alma mater would make him want to stay longer?
I honestly, John Harbaugh only cares about John Harbaugh. I don't think
real quick,
cares.
Jim.
Oh, Jim. Yeah, either way, that's what I think of.
That's why I just say Harbaugh. Honestly, because I can't say it wrong.
You never distinguish. You don't remember.
I hate the Ravens and Michigan, so it's all right.
You just hate the Harbaughs.
I mean, they're kind of assholes, don't you think?
I mean, I never met them,
but one of them's actually won something. The other one hasn't won shit. All he did was play quarterback for Michigan, and then he went back there as the coach. And we've been told they're really good, but then they got blown out, by 30 points to Georgia?
Yes.
Come on.
And they lost to TCU last year.
That's the funny one that
we'll see. Here's the thing. If they run the table, if they beat Alabama, then I think there's a good chance they win it because I think they do beat Washington and I think they do beat Texas. Outside of
Washington and Texas have better quarterbacks.
Yeah, but they don't have better defense.
Actually, they have
Michigan
actually all 3
incredible.
teams have better quarterbacks.
No, Alabama has like 9 quarterbacks. They don't have a single one. Now Alabama's quarterback sucks. I don't even know his name. Yeah, he's terrible. But
I mean, so is the Michigan quarterback.
McCarthy's not great either, but he's been better than what they've had.
I mean, what is he competing with? Shea Patterson and Leighton Spates? like, I don't even know if that's the guy's name, Spates. But
so, gun to your head right now, who wins a national championship?
Alabama.
I hate you. Gun to your head, David. Who wins a national championship?
You know, I'm going to go Washington. I want to see that happen.
Michael Penix Jr.
Yes.
I'm going to say Florida State. Because they're going to win in Discovery.
Because they're going to win.
They're going to win it. They're going to win in the court of law. And Alabama's going to win the title, and it's going to be vacated. So Florida State's going to win.
That was one of the best things I saw about tweeting about this is Big Cat saying, you know what, this is good for Florida State fans. They don't have to watch themselves get destroyed, and they can claim that they were national champions because of being left out.
Outside of Michigan, not a single team there scares me with the current roster that they have, even with Rodemaker, because that defense would disrupt and destroy anybody. They have the best secondary in the country right now. Their corners are incredible. And right now, Verse has been averaging 3.5 sacks a game the last 3 games. They have a disruptive and dominant defense, and their running game is one of the best in the country. So none of those teams scare me. I think Florida State makes it to the championship, even with this current group. I think they match up very well against Washington. They match up very well against Texas. Michigan and Bama are the only teams that give me any trouble, but fuck Bama. They wouldn't be there.
I still think Texas shouldn't be there.
I mean, there's a chance to say that, I guess. But honestly, I just don't want the SEC.
I don't care that they beat Alabama. I really don't. Alabama beat Georgia. Did Texas beat Georgia? No. It's not the associated property.
So let's talk really quick about next year. It expands to the 12 team, right? And while that sounds better, right? But it sounds better in practice, right? 12 teams. They're going to have 6 conference champions be automatic. Which conference is number 1? Like they haven't laid that out yet. Like obviously Big 10, ACC, Big 12, and SEC. The Pac-12 doesn't exist. There's 2 teams left after next year. There's Washington State and Oregon State. So unless you're giving one of those 2 an automatic bid, I don't know what they're going to do. And then there is the group of 5. Which 2 out of the group of 5 are you taking? The AAC seems to be the more likely choice, right? Because they have the more competitive teams. What are the other 4 conferences? Like, who's going to get rewarded, number 1? And number 2, I was thinking about it. There's probably 12 teams in the country right now, 12 legacy teams, that if they go undefeated or have 1 loss, are almost guaranteed to get in. You think about it, just look at the teams there now. You have, so Ohio State, Michigan, they're definitely in. If they go 12-1 or 13-0, they're in 100%. Alabama, LSU, and Georgia, that's 5 already. They're definitely in. Oklahoma, if they do their part. Texas, if they do their part. And then you have your outskirts like your Florida State, your Clemson. They do what they're supposed to do. So that's already 9 slots basically taken up every single year that if they do their job and go 1 loss at most, they're going to get in. And
you forgot James Madison.
James Madison.
Yeah, you forget James Madison.
You could throw Penn State in there as like an outlier team. You could throw Oregon in there as an outlier team. And if Washington keeps going, there's basically 12 teams already. And if they go 1 loss, they're basically going to be in. The committee's not going to not put them in out of legacy. And USC, UCLA, those are 2 other teams. Like, so does this actually matter, Santos? Are we just still going to see the same fucking teams from the Big Ten and SEC?
No, because now we get to see Penn State and Ole Miss lose. So that's really all I'm looking forward is for Penn State to finally get their moment and lose by 35. That's really just what I've been waiting. These Penn State fans in Jersey don't like you. I don't care if you went there. Where are you from?
I like you. Oh my God. So does this give Rutgers a chance to ever get in?
I mean, if you think about it, when they were ranked number 3 with this format, they would have been in. They only had 1 loss.
My biggest issue with Rutgers, I complained about this with David, and we're going off on a tangent this year. Greg Schiano coached like a fucking asshole this year because he saw 6 winnable games early in the year and said, "Screw it, I want to get to a bowl." and did not care about how they won them. And in turn, gave them no chance whatsoever later in the year when they played real competition. Because in the winnable games, Gavin Wimsatt, I think, maybe threw the ball 20 times a game. And then knowing he was going to have to throw it 30 plus times a game against your big teams, all of a sudden people are killing the kid because now he's not playing well in those big games. Wouldn't you have him throw 30 plus times a game in the cream puff games that you're going to win, just so his arm and his ready to do this, or at least has a better chance against these bigger teams? I don't know. That kind of pissed me off early in the year. Did you watch any of the games, Santos?
I watched some of them. I mean, maybe Shiano, that's just how he is, though. It's about winning. It's not really about development or anything like that. I personally think they got to get rid of him, to be honest with you.
But who else wants to go to Rutgers?
I don't know.
That's the problem. Like, Shiano's the best they're going to get right now.
Probably.
You need a recruiting.
What about Belichick?
David's conspiracy about Belichick going to the Jets might be real. He trades Salah for Belichick, and so Belichick can coach Aaron Rodgers and get one more title.
I had an insane conspiracy theory about that.
I love it.
I was like, what if this dumb shit happened?
He's going to Tampa Bay to win.
And then, no, what would happen is...
I'll go there.
What would happen
Everybody
is
wins.
Belichick would come here, and then he would tear his Achilles on the turf field and have to be out. That's what would happen.
Jesus.
It would just be like that. So I want to move on because you thoroughly made me angry. Florida State is a national champion. Let's go on to some happy days. New York Yankees. Santos, is the evil empire back? Are they going to be the evil? Does it seem like they're at least trying to be the evil empire again? Like
Juan Soto, I don't like the
Soto
name.
trade. Alex Verdugo, who could still get fucked, but he's now a Yankee. What do you think of what Cashman's been doing after kind of being a psycho during this year, talking shit about all of his players?
I like it. I don't like the name Evil Empire. Never have. To be honest with you, it's not my fault. We have more money. Just spend it. So, but other than that, I mean, it seems like a good thing. I want to see what happens with Yamamoto. I mean, maybe we're back once we get him, but I still got to pay Soto. I mean, that's the big thing. I mean, if he's here for a year, we lose, and then he goes over to the Mets. I mean,
yeah, so
it's a waste of time.
Do you think Cashman made this deal without at least a verbal agreement from Boris to really discuss a true extension?
Scott Boris does not make verbal agreements.
I know.
Scott Boris. Soto's taking the most money unless Soto wants to be a Yankee. And he tells Boris to F off.
It drives me nuts to think that they did this deal for a one-year player with two pitchers. We have two pitchers right now. Quite literally, we have Garrett Cole and we have Nestor healthy because I don't count Rodon, whatever his name is. He's Rodon. He's a Godzilla character. I was gonna say Rendon, whatever. He sucks. Okay. We have two pitchers. Yamamoto will make 3. We need some more arms. Who else should they go after arm wise?
Jack Flaherty from Cardinals. I mean, low risk, high reward. Kind of like Severino though. Might be a little annoying, but I mean that's the only dart throw I would really take. I mean, well, now there's no Michael King. Kind of got to piece it together. I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do. I'd like to see Flaherty, need Yamamoto, Rodon. We'll see what happens. But it'll come together. I'm more concerned about if we're gonna put runs up. I mean, Soto's nice, but how many games is Dominguez gonna play? Is Judge going to be healthy? What are we doing with Stanton? I don't want Rizzo at first base. He's washed. Honestly, I don't like Volpe. I don't think he's that great. It's a joke he won a Golden Glove. If I was a 10-year All-Star and Anthony Volpe, or a 10-year veteran and Anthony Volpe won the Golden Glove, I'd be pissed.
Outside of his errors, though, he statistically did deserve it.
Hold up, but you can't say
he's been here for a cup of coffee. He makes like 20 errors, and the guy wins the award. Why? It makes no sense. Marcus Semien makes like 30 errors, but he's a much better player. I don't think anybody's going to.
It's the value of pinstripes.
Imagine someone's like a sniper. It's like outside of his missed shots, he's really a marksman. Like, he can't be saying that.
I honestly do not know how he won the award. I don't. It's honestly a heist. I don't know how he won it. You know, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Yeah, so the Yankees are an interesting case. So I'm looking at it too, and I'm agreeing with you because DJ LeMahieu seems broken to me as a hitter. They tried to turn one of the best hitters in the MLB into a power hitter, and he hasn't been able to come back since. He's not that single hitter that he used to be, that single double guy. Volpe, I think Volpe came on strong and fine last year. We'll see if the second year slump occurs, if we have the Glaber slump. But he came on well. He finished a lot stronger than he started, both defensively and offensively. So I'm going to give that kid a chance. As much as I absolutely hate Verdugo, he was a good move, especially in Yankee Stadium. I don't think he's going to be bad. You're shaking your head. You think Verdugo is going to suck?
I don't want Yankee haters on the Yankees.
I hate the guy too, but in terms of what he can bring, he's a good player. I just hate the guy.
What you gonna do? Argue with fans in the outfield again? Act like he has to be held back? Dude's an asshole. I mean, why do we want? Are we gonna get straw from the Indians while we're at it? What are we doing?
Just let him hit a short porch home run and then run the next short porch and argue with the fan that caught it. I don't care as long as he's hitting home runs. Okay. I'm curious what Austin Wells does because, Wells has the ability to be an everyday guy, but we got to see because I wasn't huge on what he brought last year at the end of the year. I like Spencer Jones. I think Spencer Jones is going to eventually become a guy. Like you said, Dominguez, how much is he going to play? Eventually, you got to look at that outfield. And, Dominguez and Jones, you got to find places for both of those guys. And right now, it's a crowded outfield. Are we going to eventually move? Put Judge at first. Let Judge.
They're not going to do it.
They're not. But let that would be my ideal thing to kind of fit these young guys out there and get Rizzo maybe, I don't know, gone. I don't know.
And I don't know.
Used to be.
I don't think Judge wants to do it though. That's the other thing.
Not quite a captain then. Fucking do what you need to do.
Not quite a captain.
Need to do what you do for your team, man. Like, just like Jeter told A-Rod to kick rocks, he's not playing. I mean, there's a difference. That was Mr. October too, so.
A-Rod's a better player, though.
Arguably.
Better shortstop.
Probably more talent. I don't know. But listen, Jeter has more highlight plays. Jeter has more historically
I can jump throw, too. You ever see me throw across the diamond?
Not just like cool, him. Though.
But you wouldn't get Cecil Fielder out. I don't even know if you remember who Cecil Fielder is. He was just a fat guy that only hit home runs.
I'll get Cecil Fielder and Cecil Fielder Jr. out.
Hey, Cecil Fielder Jr. had a little bit of giddy up, okay? He had some giddy up.
He was bigger than his father. What are you
he could move it, all right? He could move.
When they would time him around the bases on ESPN. Are you kidding me? They used to time him the first.
That's a lot. It was amazing.
He hit it inside the Parker once and they timed it. It was big news.
It was big news. It was amazing. It was like Big Sexy hitting his first home run when he was with the Mets.
Big Sexy is not a good guy.
Listen,
guy had a whole secret family.
He's been just doing black tar heroin.
That just means he's double the good guy. That's all that means. If he can find a way to make it work.
She sued him, and you know what he did? Instead of hiring a lawyer to remain anonymous, he represented himself.
That's incredible.
He's an American hero, and he's not even American.
They asked his wife about it, and she said she's known about it for a long time, but this is a private thing, and she doesn't want to talk about it.
That's a good woman right there. Oh my God, that's a great one.
And not even that. In her eyes, she's like, it gets him out of my hair.
Probably. I learned this all on Wikipedia about a week ago. So.
Honestly, I don't get guys like that. Like, why would you want a second wife and a second family? One's hard enough, man. Like, one wife, one family, a second one. Like, that's a lot of dedication. Maybe he's a better man than we think he is, okay?
I don't know. I mean, it was kind of on the way home, if you think about it. I mean, if you're going to the Bronx, you got to think he probably lives on, like, either Midtown, up here. Yeah, he might live in the Village, but either way, Washington Heights right there. So you go right over the river. You're right there watching Heights. He's just seeing her on the way home. You know what I mean?
Easy pit stop. Real easy pit stop there.
Yeah, going out to dinner with the boys. Not really, but
Saturdays are for the boys. My other boys, my other young boys, my other children that I have.
Yeah, my other 6-year-old son.
New meaning for Saturdays are for the boys. What do you think the Yankees do this year? Are they a playoff team? Are they a championship team?
100 wins. I don't know about championship. Got to see what happens. But a little early.
How many games do Stanton and Judge play combined?
Oh,
15, 27? Where are we at?
combined?
Yeah, because they don't stay healthy. You're not. I don't think you get a full season out of both of them combined, or what's considered a full season, right? 90
How
games.
many games they play at the same time?
Ooh, same time, maybe 50 at most. At most. Are you going to get 100 games from either of them?
I don't even think I can give you a number. Yeah, I think Judge gives us like 130 games.
So Judge essentially gets you a full season because that's rest days included there. They get at least
it gets
a little
close.
Injury nicks. Okay,
it gets close. Stanton, I don't really know. Maybe 60 games.
And we're paying him. How much are we paying him this year for 6? He might be worse than Jacoby Ellsbury because he's at least there. At least we didn't see Jacoby Ellsbury. He was out of sight, out of mind. We actually see Stanton. And he'll hit like a 700-foot home run, give us hope, and then it'll be like, oh, I chipped my toenail. See you in 6 months, bitches. It's like deserve to have the shit talked about him.
We'll see. I mean, I don't think Stan's going anywhere. I'll put it that way. So hopefully he just comes along. I think that's all we could really hope for.
We got a Bobby Bonilla Stanton. We really got it. We got to spread it out for 30 years. Get out of here. We'll Bobby Bonilla Day. We'll have a Mike Stanton Day every year.
Oh, jeez.
Until he plays a full season, I'm not calling him Giancarlo. He's Mike until he plays a full season.
That's a random reason to.
I don't think I'm pretty sure nobody calls him Giancarlo in this family.
No, they all call him Mike. It's just random. He's like, I got what no, seriously, he was Mike Stanton coming into the league. Now it was a little confusing because there was the pitcher Mike Stanton and then there was him. And then he was a solid power hitter as a kid. And then I think they did. I was reading this. They went to another country to go and play games because baseball's international. And when he went there, he's like, oh, I connected with my heritage and I want to be named Giancarlo. I think is
heritage. Isn't he black?
I don't know what he is. But I think isn't Giancarlo his middle name? I don't even think it's his first name.
I don't know.
And his whole family calls him Mikey. It's so ridiculous. And he's just going by Giancarlo. No, he's Mike Stanton. I'm sorry. You are Mike Stanton to the real world. So, and I'll call him Giancarlo if he plays 130 games. I will call him that and he hasn't done that yet. So Mike Stanton it is. All right. So we're going to jump into some NFL stuff. And it's not what anyone thinks, because if anyone knows, David and I are Jets fans. Matt is a Jets fan that hates the Jets more than most Jet fans. But
I don't like other Jets fans.
Matt's the only Jets fan that's right. If anybody knows that, Matt is always right about the Jets. But
it's more certain Jets fans are wrong.
See, Matt is not a super optimistic guy when it comes to his sports teams in general. He cannot find a reason to be optimistic about anything Jets, and I can't blame him.
What are you optimistic about now, bud?
What am I optimistic about? Potentially Marvin Harrison Jr., okay? You got to find a silver lining in every situation, Matt. Got to find that silver lining. But I want to talk about...
Garrett Wilson drops the ball too much. But a different discussion for a different day.
Honestly, if I'm Garrett Wilson, I'm fucking volleyballing the ball every time it comes at me. I don't want to get hit because there's no reason to play right now, okay? I am going to spike every ball that comes at me.
This is not
why am I going to take a hit? Why am I going to take a hit?
He already does. To
a tune of he's going to get 1,000 yards this year not catching the ball. Good job. But another discussion, because if I'm Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, if JD even looks at my agent and says, think about potential extension, I'm going to say fuck off. Why am I going to stay here if I'm either of those guys? I digress. We're going to go on the other side. We're going to go into the losers of the Snoopy Bowl, the Giants. But right now, They might be winning games, but they're the ultimate losers because they're losing draft capital. But their quarterback right now is really interesting. And no, we're not talking about another failed Duke product in Daniel Jones. You think the Giants would have learned from Dan Brown? They didn't. Duke products are not good quarterbacks anyway. But they have a Jersey boy. Where did he go before? I know he was at Syracuse for a year or UConn, one of them. He was one small school. He's a quarterback for a year there. He did 4 years somewhere else. But Tommy DeVito, taking the world by storm. And as in taking the world, I mean, WFAN likes to talk about him a little bit. But but for all jokes aside,
ESPN does too a little
ESPN, bit. The kid has charisma. I like that he's doing the whole entire Italian hand, making that his thing. The Giants like put that emoji in there. But I got to say, the kid could play decently. He's not a starter in the NFL, but he is a solid backup. And similar to Sam Howell, he just fucking throws the ball, man. he does what we haven't seen as Jet fans, a single quarterback outside of Ryan Fitzpatrick do in the last 10 years as Jet fans. DeVito just throws the ball, and he's making Giants offense exciting. Hyatt, who everyone thought was going to be a good receiver, had like 3 touchdowns last week. It was beautiful.
First 100-yard game with Tommy DeVito.
Exactly. So what do you think of Tommy DeVito, the NJ boy? Giants are ruining draft capital for some excitement, but what do you think?
My favorite thing about Tommy DeVito is he knows he has nothing to lose. This guy, nothing bothers him. He just goes out there. He doesn't give a shit how it turns out. He couldn't care less. He's Tommy fucking Cutlets.
The exact attitude he needs to have.
So, I mean, he's been. It's unbelievable. It's just. You see how much they like him too. You see Saquon on the sideline cheering for him. Don Bosco kid from Cedar Grove, New Jersey. Yep. Not the biggest fan of that area. Not just putting it out there. A little bit of traffic. Not ideal. I mean, it's not exactly the Taj Mahal, but either way, New Jersey kid. It's I like him. How about you, Dave?
I'm okay with him. I really haven't watched much Giants football since he's been in and since he played against the Jets and they wouldn't let him pass because they hate him that game. But I've seen some of the highlights and he looks like he's fun. It reminds me of like Lynn Sanity, Matt Flynn type of stuff. And that's what it reminds me of. I don't know.
White.
Yes. Yeah. I don't think it'll have staying power, except he might not get speared like Mike White did by Matt Milano. I don't think he'll necessarily have staying power, but I'm rooting for him. I mean, he's from Jersey. And honestly, some of the way people reacted to him saying, like, look, I come home, I have chicken cutlets ready for me, I have my laundry done. People act like he's some type of loser. Some act like some type of loser. No, what are you talking about? He's got an NFL contract. He doesn't have to do anything at home. It's awesome.
And the thing is, too, it's like, I love that he's coming in here. He's already better than Kenny Pickett. Like, he is the best New Jersey quarterback already. Like, I'm sorry. Listen, it's like, I know.
The hand size.
It's all about the hand size.
It's the hand
but
size.
he's already the best New Jersey product quarterback in the league right now. And, for me, it looks at it, it's the difference in coaching, right? And I don't judge him off that Jets game. He had to come in cold, right? Taylor was supposed to play. He came in cold. You're going against the Jets defense. Best secondary in the NFL by a long shot.
Well, no, I'm not blaming him. I'm more blaming the fact that they just refused to let him throw beyond the line of scrimmage. And
could he though? Like, even if they wanted to design it that way, there was probably nothing down there outside of just like
they gave him no chance to win.
I mean, Dable didn't even try.
He didn't try.
Dable didn't try.
I mean, but would you trust this kid against the Jets? I know you have nothing to lose, but you don't want to lose to the Jets by 30 points, right? And you would. He would throw 4 pick sixes and it would be useless, right? So I would rather play it safe and let's watch Zach Wilson throw some pick sixes. Like, that's what they were going for. Who was going to throw the most pick sixes was going to like win that or lose that game.
The Giants still should have won that game, probably.
Absolutely.
No, they still should have 100%.
The Jets did it. There was no reason that when Zach Wilson gets sacked under 2 minutes and 4th down at like the 30, that the Jets end up winning that game. There was no reason for it. I turned that game off. I think it was like 27. He gets sacked with like a minute 40 left. Somehow they got the fucking ball back.
24 seconds.
I turned the game off. Like, I was like, this is useless. I was pissed. I had I was so mad. And then all of a sudden I get like an update on my phone that the Jets won. I'm like, excuse me? What? Why? I was more just like, why? Why
It's a crazy game.
Oh my God. So are we all in agreement that Tommy Cutlets, I like him?
I like him. Cool guy.
Yeah, we like him.
Next Jets quarterback.
I don't know about next Jets quarterback, but he's a cool guy.
He's playing with house money. So
yeah, that's true.
If you're the Jets, do you draft a quarterback this year in the second round? We don't have a second rounder. Do you get into the second round draft?
I was going to say we don't have a second.
No, you wait a year for Shadur.
That's interesting.
Now, here's the question. Is Shadur going to be alive? Are they going to get him a line? Are they going to get him a defense?
The transfer portal is going to be absolutely ridiculous because they have like one top recruit.
It's going to be ridiculous. I think that they're going to get a lot of guys, but it's like what we saw from Shadur Sanders this year is he is really talented. He's a very good quarterback. Travis Hunter is very good, but it doesn't matter. If you can't get the ball, if you have to get the ball out under a second every fucking time, and if you have to score 50 points a game to win every game because your defense is quite literally Colorado's defense is the worst in the country.
Defense can't shoot its way out of a paper bag.
No,
I mean it's terrible. So
it's sad. So I'm hoping
12-team playoff though. 12-team playoff.
Yeah, you can make it.
Aren't they in the SEC or something next year?
No, they're in the Big 12.
Colorado joined the Big 12?
Yeah, they rejoined it after they left it.
Yeah. Stupid.
Colorado, didn't they? They only left it like 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's not that long ago. Then again, I don't think anybody thought that the Pac-10, now the Pac-12, would have just been like everyone there with an actually obnoxious amount of history. Like that to me is the crazy part, that you're Stanford, USC, UCLA, all of these teams that have like legitimate history there are out. But there is some cool things.
Literally their best season ever.
Yeah.
Was their last.
Yeah. Honestly, this was maybe
the Oregon
outside of the Oregon years with Mariota and stuff like that. And some of the Oregon teams were really good.
This is the most overrated Oregon team ever. Bo Nix, God bless whatever NFL team drafts him because he's a loser.
Bo Nix is not going to get drafted. I'm convinced he's not going to get drafted.
He'll get a late draft. He'll get a late round.
He'll get drafted.
How's he going to get drafted at 33?
He'll get a late round.
Because Michael Penix is just as old.
Listen, Brandon Whedon actually was good in college. Bo Nix is not very good. He just has a lot of talent on him.
Putting up the numbers, I don't know what to tell you. He's gonna get a late round draft pick.
Bo Nix is getting drafted.
He's getting 100%. An AARP card his first year he gets in the league. How do you draft him? Like he's not like he's the boat. Like the boat deserved to be drafted because the boat was the man. But I don't know. That's who the Jets need. The Jets need to go get the boat. Where is he right now?
Probably ripping cigs, smoking.
Hanging out with Jay Cutler, ripping some cigs, be in the boat.
Ripping cigs, working construction.
What's Barstool doing? Why haven't they hired that guy yet? Like, honestly, Barstool wants to become transcendent. You hire the boat, you give him a show.
They said to him, "What do you usually do when you wake up?" He said, piss.
He's the best. He's the greatest. Love that guy. But
and he has like a 10 talking to him too. And he's just like, I usually take a piss first.
Hey, listen, he doesn't care.
That's a guy that's been around 10s. You can tell.
Yeah.
He's been around 10s. He doesn't care. I mean, he's no Sam Bradford in terms of stealing money from the NFL. No one is a better thief. Sam Bradford and Ryan Fitzpatrick are the two greatest thieves in the NFL history.
Bradford is heads and above over Ryan Fitzpatrick. Bradford didn't play a full season.
He never did. And the guy, I think, what did he make, like $120 million?
He made a lot of money.
It was a lot of money. But at the same time, Ryan Fitzpatrick made sure to play one good season a year.
Hey.
Get like 40 mil, 50 mil.
At least he gave you good season.
And then just decide to be like, I tried, guys. And that was everywhere Ryan Fitzpatrick went. Oh, man. But, okay. I want to jump into our last topic here. Complete switch off, not sports related. We are going to talk about our world traveler of the group here, Mat Santos. You like to go to Portugal. You like to travel places. Where else? Have you been anywhere else besides Portugal?
I've been to Greece, Spain, France, and Mexico.
So why do you like being a socialist?
um, I don't know. I just like to see what these other countries have to offer.
David didn't expect that one.
Should have.
So, but no, really. So you've been around a lot of the EU countries and things like that. What is it? Because, here in America, we just think of everything as like it's the West. It's the Western culture, and we have a lot of like similarities. Obviously, there are a lot of similarities between Western countries and Western cultures, in terms of like, I guess, philosophy of how we live our lives, right? With like freedoms and things like that. But what has it been like going over to a lot of other Western countries and things like that, and seeing how they live and the way that they do things compared to what we have here?
I would say it's a lot more laid back. In America, people are very concerned about work. Not to say that they're not concerned in Portugal, but I feel like, well, even in Portugal, they have laws in place where, they legally cannot message you after your shift ends or your work day of work ends. It's illegal to message them. So I mean, there's more emphasis on, I guess, a work-life balance. I mean, but that's a minute thing. I guess the bigger appeal to me is that, I don't know, it's just you can walk around. It's very leisureful. I could go to a cafe. Now, I know that I'm seeing it through vacation to an extent, but I mean, when I look around, it's not like everybody else is on vacation.
You've had extended vacations, though, too. It's not like you go there for a week. You'll go there for a few weeks, close to a month sometimes. So it's like, it's different when you're hustle and bustling for a week, but you're there and you're relaxing a lot of the times. Like, you're getting into
Yeah.
Now, do you think you have a different perspective coming at it from like a Northeastern American? Because we're fucking crazy in the Northeast. Like, we do we're always moving quick. And like, the South is famously slower.
Very good point.
Midwest is famously slower. Even the West Coast is much more chill. Like, in the Northeast, I don't think there's a place in the world, maybe outside of like Tokyo or like Beijing, that like is as quick as we are. So do you think kind of having that lens kind of gives you a different perspective? Because I mean, I teach students how to drive, and I just tell them everyone in the Northeast is late. That's why they're all assholes at driving.
That's pretty good. No, I don't think the hustle and bustle has anything to do with it, because I think if I lived somewhere else, I would be bored, to be quite honest with you. Or in California, I feel like I would just want to pull my hair out. But
if they allow you to, the government has to give you permission to pull your hair out. California.
Basically, though, I mean, living in the Northeast, I would say it's probably the most diverse area in the country by far, not even close. I mean, if you want to talk about El Paso, Texas, I mean, sure, it's integrated, but it's
forced diversity.
It's not exactly diverse. So, that's my argument there. I mean, we have everything here. So you kind of you're already familiar with how, other cultures work to an extent. I mean, I'm not from Indiana where, my parents are from Indiana. My grandfather's from Indiana. My great-grandfather's from Indiana.
Yeah.
And my great-great-grandfather moved from Tennessee. So, it's not like that in the East Coast for the most part. I mean, look at you two, look at me, relatively new to the country in the grand scheme of things. So I think we have more of an appreciation and a respect when we go over there. I feel like when they talk about the not very respectful Americans, sometimes I feel like it has to do with either one of two things: you being rich or you just not being used to it. And I would say that's where the people from Texas, that's where the people from the South, that's where the people from the Midwest all fall. Californians, they're just detached from regular life, so they have no idea. Wherever California goes, it's vacation to them.
Mostly SoCal. Northern Cal is a lot more normal because Northern California has weather. At least it gets cold there. They have rain and shit. California is two very distinct different places.
The only normal job in California is being a police officer because you have actual crime to deal with.
Yeah, but they're not allowed to do anything. It's almost as good as being like a New York City police officer. You're not actually allowed to do anything. You know, it's always funny too because I was like talking to like some of my students or whatever, and it dawned on me. We speak American English in the Northeast. We are like the set because if you look at all like businesses, all shows, they have at least some sort of Northeast accent, whether it's Jersey, New York, even Boston. You don't hear a lot of shows like really promoting like a Southern accent as like the normal accent of things or like a Midwest accent. Like we make fun of people like, don't you know? Like that's not real English. Like when we think of American English, you think of your Northeast, your New York, your New Jersey, your PA. Like that is American English. And even California to an extent, they speak very similar to us in a lot of ways. So it's like, I don't know, it's a little bit of a tangent, but I found that interesting. Do you guys agree that like the English we speak here is an English that if you think around the world of American English, it's the way we speak. It's the way people thrive. Like it's the way we are in the Northeast and how we speak here. And Dave, you're not a Northeasterner anymore, but you're being in West Virginia. Do you kind of see that?
I'm an Easterner.
Yeah, you're kind of. I don't know. West Virginia is like.
Do you feel
kind of Eastitioner, I guess. So what do you think? In West Virginia.
I mean, I would say that I think that's kind of correct in the fact that that's our kind of accent is similar to the ones that you will see on a lot of shows and everything like that. But I do think that if you're like a Japanese, I don't know what they're called, but they love Western culture and they'll dress up as cowboys. So I think those people will not agree with that. I think, no, 100%. They get together, they dress up as cowboys. They're like weeaboos for the fucking West.
Reverse talking.
Yeah, they have revolvers and everything, and they like play around and they role play as cowboys.
That's actually amazing.
Yeah,
Germans dress up as dogs too, so you know.
Well, yeah, but I would think they would disagree with that. But I think generally you're kind of correct on that. I haven't heard enough accents in America to really say whether or not it's definitely correct, but I think there is some that I don't want to hear ever in my life. So I think we're good on that.
I mean, Coach Ogeron was a national treasure. He
That's
quite
not an
literally, he quite
That's a
literally
slur.
sounded like the dude from The Waterboy. Like he quite literally, like he brought that to life, and it was so good. I don't know how you can get coached by that man, unless you quite literally live in the South, and that's like a dialect you know.
You have to be from Louisiana.
You have to. You have to, or even like Jameis Winston.
There's
like,
assistant
Jameis
coaches that translate it.
Jameis Winston isn't a stupid person, but he just sounds like an idiot because of his accent. But it's like every person you talk to, he's like, yeah, he digests a playbook in 3 seconds. Like that takes intelligence. Playbooks are not easy to digest in the NFL. So it's like, it's like the Southern, I don't know. I like you guys in the South. Your accent's weird. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's hard to understand sometimes.
I mean, it doesn't matter though. When you go to Europe, they all say that they like the British accent better. So
every single person likes the British accent better, but they like a specific posh British accent.
Yeah, it's not the hard British Southern accent where they sound almost Irish. Like they don't like those. And you know what? I'm sorry, British people. Australian accents are better. I'm sorry. You get a hot Australian girl with a my Lanta.
With the what?
With just everything that comes with the hot Australian woman, okay? Listen, a hot Australian woman is like the every best part of like a hot American blonde with a great Australian accent. Like that
I don't think that's what he meant to say, but all right.
I mean, you know what? This is a family show, damn it.
It's not at all, actually.
No.
But Matt, I do have a question. Please
do not play this around your kids.
You know, Alex brought up how you go to many Western countries. Now, I don't know if you ever heard of Lord Miles before. But I think I mentioned it before.
I'm not sure I have.
Have you ever thought about possibly going to a country, you know, traveling like to Afghanistan or anything?
Or to Ukraine?
Actually, I have.
Okay.
And there's somewhere specifically I want to go.
Mm-hmm. Where's
actually?
You want to go to Kabul?
No, I don't. No, I don't want to go to Kabul. No, that there's nothing to see there.
Listen, if you actually
that was
want to
insensitive.
travel,
That was insensitive.
if you actually want to do something dangerous, I'm pretty sure we can hook you up with Lord Miles. I'm pretty sure Lord Miles always wants people to go with him. You just have to go to he's gone to North Sentinel Island and things
No,
like
he
that.
has not.
He has not gone yet.
No,
where was the one with all the snakes that he almost got killed?
I can't remember where it was.
I think.
Yeah.
He went to Snake Island in a giant suit of Old English armor, and the snakes got in his armor, and he almost got bitten by deadly snakes.
Jesus Christ!
He just goes to dangerous places.
Why would he even do that?
So his story is, and people that listen to the show before know it. I'll just do a quick synopsis. He is a quite literally old school British adventurer. When COVID went down, he wanted to take a holiday somewhere. The only place he was allowed to go was Afghanistan. So he went.
Really?
It just so happened that when he went there is when the Taliban took over. And through just straight up charm, the man made it out alive because he was captured by the Taliban. And now he's friends with the Taliban.
He wasn't necessarily captured, but they checkpoint him basically.
They checkpointed him. He could have been if he wasn't charming. But then he went back and essentially was held as a guest. A prisoner guest, I want to say. It's not prisoner, but kind of a guest. How long was he gone?
8 months.
He was gone 8 months. He was in there for 8 months. And he's friends with the Taliban now. So do you want to go and join Lord Miles and just become a dangerous world traveler with him?
I'd rather go to Iran, I think.
Okay.
I mean...
He likes going to conflict zones. So it's he did go to Ukraine. He went on the front lines of Ukraine and just went and started talking to soldiers. Out of nowhere. And then he walked across and started talking to Russians. He just doesn't care. He just doesn't care.
You mean he went to Hollywood?
So you think the Ukraine war is the moon landing, or you think that you're equivalating them?
No one said that. No one said that.
So Matt is a flat earther.
All I'm saying,
the moon landing was real.
All I'm saying is, how has Ukraine been winning for a year plus?
They haven't. They're losing right now. Flat out. Listen, right now, all they're doing is destroying their own future. That's all they're doing. They're killing their young men and middle-aged men. Because
is there a ceasefire?
No.
No.
Because the Western countries won't let them have one. Because quite literally, Russia said, "We'll end this war if you pull out if you pull your NATO bid." It's quite literally the easiest way to end the war is to pull their NATO bid. I don't even think they want to keep the Donbass of Crimea at this point. I think there's pull it, we'll move out.
They should just pull it because they're not going to let them in anyway.
No, they want to expedite.
They haven't let them in for 8 years.
I don't know. All I say is, listen, I'm not a Russian sympathizer. I'm not a big fan of Vladimir Putin. I know that's a non-starter, but still, I'm putting that out there.
Look, when
we
they
would be pissed if Russia put bases in Mexico, okay? We would absolutely go to war with Russia if they decided to go to Mexico, or even if China, we would go to war with China if they did the Belt and Road Initiative in Mexico. We would tell them to back off, get the fuck out of our sphere. We're going to murder you. And now the West and NATO is pushing up on their border. I can't blame them. I don't think they should have invaded, because I think you shouldn't invade another sovereign nation just out of principle. But I can't blame them for being pissed.
You know what country has gotten the shortest end of the stick over the last 13 years?
I like this hot take already. Where it's coming. Let's hear it.
Poland.
Poland's based.
No.
Poland is incredibly based.
First, they're you have to take these refugees. Poland says no. They said no. You have to. They said okay. 100 Christians. They said no. They said no. That's not how this works. So Poland's fine. And now they have to deal with the Ukrainian refugees. Poland's been trying to leave. Poland's trying to shut down their borders. Yep. They can't get anything done because it's basically just them and Italy that agree with each other. Yeah.
And even Italy is kind of meh at times.
Yeah. But it's Italy messed up the election. They should have won populist.
Yeah.
Well, they tried to a Maloney, but she turned out to be
a globalist.
Yeah, not great.
While I was in Portugal last, there was a major what's it called? The word I'm looking for. A major a scandal for what's it called? Bribing. And the president of the country had to step down. So now they're doing snap elections.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We think that we have it bad in this country and we have turmoil. We are still so much more stable politically than the rest of the world combined. Honestly, January 6th, other countries are looking at it going, that's it, guys? That's your work.
Whoever came up with the snap election's an idiot. That's all I have to say. I mean,
do they have to go in like the Jets and the Sharks and just? Is that what they do? They go in and they like dance off, and whoever gets the most votes on the dance off with the snaps gets in as president.
You know who came up with the snap election? David Tepper. Didn't work. You're out.
I mean,
it didn't work. You're gone.
You're gone.
Third person in 2 months, out of here.
Listen, I've said it before. I say it again. I am a fan of our two-party system because if you go and you look at like British Parliament, all they need is a vote of no confidence. One, and then
baby.
And then they sit there. How many elections did Boris Johnson have? Because he couldn't get it. He won, I think, 5 times before he can consolidate power. Hey, guys, hint to all of you. They formed 2 parties anyway in those countries, right? Because you have to get a coalition. So you essentially just form 2 parties because you make that coalition and you work together.
Don't tear down UKIP.
Look, Farage is actually going to come into the Conservative Party and win from within. So,
if Farage really does that,
Farage quit UKIP when he finally made it. Like, I don't understand him at all. He was like, "Nah, you guys got too far away from what I want. I'm out."
That's exactly what it was. He decided
what it was, and now he's quite literally subverting the Tories and then just pulling all of his into it, and it's just going to be such a massive power that once he gets in there, he's gonna Hitler. So, for lack of a better term, he's gonna Hitler them. They're gonna think that they can control him.
I feel like you
should have found a better term. They can control him, and he's gonna go in there. I feel like
you should have found a better term.
But I couldn't think because that's exactly what happened with Hitler. They let him in because they thought they could control him, and then he ended up going fucking batshit.
Let's move on.
Jesus.
Let's move on.
The guy's hilarious though. Once Britain finally left the EU, and he's talking to the EU, and he's like, "Whoa, who's laughing now?"
Oh my God. And meanwhile, the EU is like trying to prop up like credit. 6 bankrupt countries and trying to figure out a way to just like not fold, which the EU is going to fold within the next decade. I'm convinced that they are such a paper tiger.
I think the EU is insured. They might have insurance because how do you
Russia and China? I mean, no one gets more Russian oil than Germany.
That's true.
The only place that's the most based there and getting off of this shit is the one I expect the least with Macron in France. They're just like, let's build a nuclear plant in every single town. They have more. When everyone's just like, let's go green, they're like, yup, we're gonna build like 6 more nuclear plants. Get off of oil. Like, yeah, we'll get off oil, but fuck electric too. Nuclear. Like, we are all gonna be going to France for power soon. Like, they are gonna power the world because they're just sitting.
But no one likes them.
That's also true.
Macron.
How is it?
I don't like Macron. That's the only policy I like from that guy. Is nuclear plants.
He's been towing the line for like 6 years.
He's like, he has every single policy of Trudeau except for like 2, and it's the only reason why anyone like is like, okay, you could stay. Yeah. Like, oh man, yeah. So, where you want to go next, Matt? What's your next trip?
Oh, my next trip.
Yeah,
I'm not really. I want to go to Italy. Never been to Italy. I think that's where I want to go. Maybe back to Greece. I think that would be fun.
I think you should take David with you for a month, and you guys should backpack and just pull like a Euro trip, and then go get. I
don't like some of the implications if you know that movie. There's some things happen in Euro trip that I would not want to happen to me or Matt.
You absolutely need to go to the sex club.
That's exactly what I was thinking about. I was like, I don't want to hit up that.
You want the Hesselfluggen? Yes.
I'm going to get Dave drunk and leave him in Amsterdam.
Do it, please.
Let's see what happens. Hopefully he's not dead.
Near Berlin. If anyone's never seen Eurotrip, you have to go watch that movie. It's a great movie. But yeah, so that's where you want to go. Italy, any place specifically? You want to go southern?
I want to go to Venice.
You want to have?
I have heard Venice is not all it's cracked up to be.
Before it sinks, Alex. Before it sinks.
It probably should. It's kind of useful.
So you want to go to Italy for the traditional mozzarella sticks, right?
No.
Yeah, and
Oh my god.
The very obvious tradition of mozzarella
and the mac and cheese balls.
Yes.
So you'll be going to Seaside soon instead. That's going to be your trip. Going to Steaks Unlimited and going to get the classic Italian cheese balls.
But I also want to go to Australia and Japan. It's just too much money.
I want to. If you go to Japan, we can potentially plan a pilgrimage because I want
to cosplay.
Why don't we just go? Let's go teach English for a year, see what happens.
I don't think I can leave my family for that long, but
I could technically do that.
Bring
them. I mean, they're going to be.
It'll teach them discipline.
They're going to be weird as my kids as it is. I don't want to bring them to Japan too. That will make them too weird. I might as well homeschool them if I want to make them that weird.
No, no, they won't be able to assimilate because the Japanese is very
racist,
unwelcoming culture.
Yeah, very natalist.
They don't exactly run to greet you. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
No. They'll just sit there and be like, more Americans that like anime, just rob them of their money by making
an exact quote in Tokyo Drift is, "Why don't you go find a nice Japanese girl like the rest of you white people?" That's literally a quote in Tokyo Drift.
It is not incorrect.
He said, like all the other white people in this country. I'm like, what?
That movie was made today. That would be like the most popular line ever. They'd be like, see that? They're gentrifying Japan too.
I mean, that movie, when you think about it, everybody's supposed to be 17. Those car shows are a little racy for 17-year-olds. We'll leave it at that.
A bunch of fucking pedophiles watching that movie. Damn it. All right.
Yeah, basically.
Dave, do you have any non sequitur for tonight?
I actually do. It is a complete non sequitur.
Oh, boy.
Matt, I know you grew up and you also watched cartoons. What would you say is your favorite cartoon from your youth?
My favorite cartoon?
Yes.
Oh. Scooby-Doo.
Ooh,
it's a good one.
Good one.
It's a very good one. One I would not expect to hear, but that's great.
David, what do you have?
But one of the more distinguished ones where you got to think a little bit. Not like wow, it was them.
Yeah. I would go probably Courage.
I was thinking you would either go Courage or Foster's. Would probably have been yours.
Courage is definitely mine. Probably followed by like Avatar and a couple other things, but yeah, Courage.
I've never watched a full episode of Courage once in my life.
Oh, you got to be kidding me!
Return the slab.
You're killing me.
I mean, I feel like if I was your age, it probably would have been like Danny Phantom for me, because Danny Phantom was like really good. But honestly, it's Dragon Ball Z for me. It's like that is my favorite.
I was talking cartoon.
That is a cartoon.
It's an anime.
All right, so if you're talking cartoons, probably like if you're going there, then probably Batman the Animated Series.
That's a great one.
That was probably my favorite cartoon was Batman the Animated Series or the Spider-Man Animated Series. Those are my two.
Yeah, those. I didn't really care for the Star Wars one, but a lot of people liked it.
What, Clone Wars and stuff like that?
Yeah, Clone Wars. Yeah,
I didn't watch Clone Wars until later, but it was fantastic. It was really good. But yeah, growing up, it was definitely like Batman or like those. The Saturday morning had all the Marvel cartoons. David, this was before you were a thing. It was like X-Men, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Hulk, Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer sometimes.
Oh, I have one. Arthur, great show. Yes.
Not necessarily. I wouldn't consider it a cartoon.
Transcends age. Cyberspace, another one, transcends age.
Wrong Arthur, I was thinking of.
I was thinking, what are you thinking of the one with Russell Brand? The movie?
Yeah. I was thinking of something else. My bad. No, but yeah, no, that was a great cartoon actually, and Cyber Chase as well.
Cyber Chase.
That was PBS.
Good.
That was PBS cartoons. That was when I was at Nana's house.
Coming to the Cyber Chase.
Public Broadcasting Service.
Hey, they're still doing their thing. My kids still watch a ton of PBS with like Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood and things like that, and they still have some solid shows. Cyber Chase is still on it, Dave.
That's great.
It's still
runs. Yeah, it looks really weird though. The new animation, really weird.
It does.
I don't like it.
Wildcrats is good. Wildcrats teaches them about animals and things like that. It's dope. It's fantastic. They have like animal powers. It's great. All right, Dave, that was a good non sequitur. Santos, always fun to have you around. It always makes for a good show. I got to do a Hitler reference today, so we'll get canceled.
For no reason. Like,
it makes sense in the way that he's like subverting.
I know you like Farage.
I love Farage. He's not actually Hitler. I'm not saying, listen, they call him Hitler anyway, so might as well lean into it, right?
Alex Doug McDermott Cuesta.
I prefer Doug Dimmadome of the Dimsdale Dimmadome. All right. Anyway, if you like what you heard today, like, share, follow, subscribe, rate 5 stars, Spotify and iTunes. I don't know how. If you liked what you heard today, was kind of a mess, but it was a great show. Spread this word of mouth. Go tell everyone that this is a show that's out of left field, but great and fun. Go find us on the socials at the Alex Cuesta Show. I don't think Matt has anything to promote. You doing anything scandalous?
No, not really. My Instagram's at @SantosSpirit_.
You should start live streaming your adventures when you travel, and just start
actually. You'd be surprised at the people that would probably chime in just to see what's going on
and just give commentary. What you should do is I'm going to give you your live stream. You could just do this all the time. You could just people watch live stream and just fucking make fun of people as they walk by and just see if you get and say things under your breath and see if people hear you and just see if people hear you. And then when they hear you, just be like, whoa, just kidding.
That's not a great idea.
I think I
like it.
It's a great idea because you know what? Number one, you're live streaming it so you could see the assault. So you have documentation of the assault, right? And number two, you would get followers because it would be like, all right, what's this dickhead going to say today? And is somebody going to hear him? Are they going to try and mess him up? And then you're in foreign countries as well. So it would be like the whole entire escapade of does Italian law actually protect him? Is he screwed over by provoking him? How does this work out? I think that's it. Just call it the street shit talker, and there you go.
Yeah, I'll have to look into it, see what happens.
I just made you famous. I get 10%. All right, everyone.
Right, we'll see.
Dave, anything else before we hop out of here?
No, I'm good. It was a fun ass show.
Good show. Yep. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. As always, it's a good time. We will be back next week. Pretty sure we have a good show lined up for next week, so I'm excited for it. And we'll be back. So long, everybody.